speaker of the day. She is the founder and owner of the stock Swoosh, and Melissa also appears on TV as an expert stock market analyst. So perhaps you've seen her commentary. And all right, Melissa, well, it's great to have you here with us this morning. I'll let you go ahead and get started.
Testing, testing. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I am going to switch it to me.
Here, let me stop my share for you. Okay.
Let me know if you can see my slide.
Yes, I can.
Perfect. Thanks so much for having me today. Welcome, everyone. Very exciting day to be here. Exciting time to trade. The market's up huge today. Absolutely huge. Everything's up huge. Bank earnings. So, of course, I'm going to talk a little bit about that today. So, for those of you that don't know me, my name is Melissa Arbo. I own my own company called The Stock Swoosh, as Marissa said. I appear on TV, every single channel actually I've appeared on, talking about the stock market and the economy. And it's really, like I said, an exciting time to trade. If you have been trading even a week and a half, even 2025, look at the swings the market has had. Let me tell you something. Volatility is good if you know how to trade it. People get scared about it, they get worked up about it, but the fact is it leaves opportunity for you to make money as a trader, okay? So as we go along, I'll try to answer everyone's questions. And again, today we're going to talk about trading on the side of institutional money and gaps. Again, for what I do, for those of you that have never heard of me before, I specifically trade gaps. And again, I talk about it on TV. If you have questions when we're done, you can email me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com or call me at 929-3200-GAP. You can also follow me on Twitter, which is now X, Facebook, YouTube, and Skype. So here we are, like I said, beginning of 2025. Happy New Year, everyone. It is a new year, and it's a time for a new start. It's a time to get motivated. I mean, if you're not motivated at the beginning of the year, you're never going to get motivated. Now's the time to change what you're doing. If you did not have a good year in 2024, now's the time to change, okay? If you had a good year, guess what? You could still have a better year this year, and you want to start setting those goals now. And again, you have to be in touch with what those goals and dreams are, okay? And again, any questions, I'll see it in the chat. So as I was saying, have you set goals for yourself this year? It's not too late. Sit down this weekend, this afternoon, sit down and create a list of goals, okay? Then after that, you need an actionable plan of action to achieve those goals, okay? You need steps. So you need a plan of action to how you're going to achieve the goals at the end of the year, okay? These goals could be personal goals. They could be trading goals. Today we're talking about trading. It is best to do this early in the year, like I said, to ensure your success. And, you know, right now it's earnings season. So today was really the official start of earnings season in the stock market because we had bank earnings out this morning. Goldman Sachs is up, JPM is up, Citibank is up. And again, the next 6 weeks are a very prime time to trade. There's 4 quarterly earnings seasons in the stock market, and it's when stocks report their earnings. Now, do I know necessarily what they're going to say in earnings? No, I don't. You don't. Nobody does. And we don't know how the stock's going to react either. But the fact is, it leaves opportunity for you to trade, whether long or short, when the earnings occurs. And again, what I do is gaps. And what's happening today in the market, actually, the market's gapping up. And so are the stocks that I just mentioned. Now, I know it's the beginning of the year, so I wanted to put in the stats for last year just to get an idea. If you want to come and join my group and trade with me, these were the results for last year. These were all the day trades I did last year in 2024. And again, my average risk is about $3,500 a trade. These are day trades. So you must have a margin account to do these trades. Okay, so 901,138 was my year. It was a good year, okay? I'm mostly short, actually, to be honest with you, in the trading room. So we did Oracle the other day. That fell. It was a nice trade Friday and Monday, but I will go long, okay? I'm here with you today, so I'm not running my room this morning on the open. We open in 25 minutes. But I can tell you right now, if I was running the room today, if I was day trading today, I can tell you right now, I'd be going long any one of the banks that I just told you. So, you know, there are times to go long and there are times to short, but I do prefer to short. So the stats for last year, we did 288 trades. This is in the room. There were 194 winners, 89 losers, and 5 break-evens. So win ratio in the room last year was 69%, which is good. Okay, those are good stats. And again, these are trades I call live in the room. Then I do options. Okay, we're already actually in options for the QQQs and JPM. I'm in 2 JPM options already going into today, which are up. So those are nice trades. I do options. Now the options is a newsletter, and I risk more in my options trades. So these were the stats for the whole year, for last year, for 2024. I'm very active on this newsletter. This gets emailed to you in live time. This is not in the live trading room. You would get this to your email if you sign up for this subscription. So over 3.8 million for last year in options, and I'm risking more in my options, an average of $8,000 per trade. These were the stats for the newsletter. 509 trades. Again, you can see I was more active doing options. 352 winners, 152 losers, 5 break even, and a 70% win ratio. So, you know, my system, I use the same system in gaps to day trade options and do day trades, is about 70%. So total results for the year was over 4.7 million. It was a good year. So again, if you had a good year last year, you still want to have a better year this year, right? If you didn't have a good year last year, it's time to change. I really think we're going to be in this type of a market. You've seen it already since the beginning of the year. It's not going to be like 2023. It's not going to be like 2024. If you're a person that likes to do swing trading or holding stocks or buying every dip, that isn't going to cut it this year. You're going to get killed, and you've already been killed so far this year if you've done that to start the year. Again, this is a chart. I'm just showing the entire year of 2024. We were very bullish. It kind of didn't make any sense when you go back and you look at the backdrop of what was happening in the economy, and I don't want to get off on a tangent about that right now. But the reality is we never ended up lowering rates. The Fed didn't until September, even though they talked about it the entire year of 2024. And the market rallied thinking it was going to lower rates 5 times last year. That didn't happen. And that it was going to lower rates, and it didn't even happen until 9 months into the year. So that's over, you know. You got to know what to do to make money in 2025 if you want to trade. And if you do, the benefit is, the great news, the good news for today is that you can make a lot of money. More money this year than last year. Why? Because the fact is there's gonna be swings in the market, swings in stocks. Again, if you know how to play it, that means you can be successful because it creates opportunity. So you've got to change what you're doing to be more successful. And change is fun, okay? We have a change in seasons. I live in New York City. I'm in Manhattan right now. It's freezing. It's freezing right now. I have the heat at 75. It's just so cold right now. But I do like living in the Northeast because we get the 4 seasons. Spring's going to be here before you know it. Someone's asked me, what time frame are you trading options, daily, gap, or 4 hours? I trade every decision I make, which we're going to talk about, is on the daily chart. That's a good question, okay? So in order to become successful, you have to become a specialist. So I'm a specialist on reading price action in gaps. That's how I was able to do the calls that I did in JPM before the earnings even today. And every trader in every level has to understand what to do. Again, look at what's happening in California, people. I mean, it's absolutely insane. It's so sad what I've watched on the news. Again, I participate in the news. In fact, I had a Fox News hit that was canceled because it was the day of the fires broke out last week. It's so sad what's happening. You've got to be on point with everything in your life. You have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to know what's going on in the world. You have to know what's going on in the market. How do you do that? Reading, education, learning. I don't know, because I teach adults, and it's funny because I've had the business now for 14 years. For some reason, after a certain age, people stop wanting to learn, or they have to like push themselves. I don't know if it's over the age of 40, 50, 60. You should want to learn and be sucking up information all the time. That's how you're going to become more enlightened. That's how you're going to become more successful. And that's how you're going to be able to survive in this type of world and this type of market. Now, this is one of my favorite stocks, actually, is Tesla, that we did a lot in November, December, and we're even in it right now, today, long. But I will show you here, one of the biggest trades we had last month was this. I get a lot of questions. People say, well, if I need this much money to trade, this much money to trade. No, you can trade with a small account. If you have an options account, you can have it set up as a cash account. You don't have to have a margin account if you want to do options, but you still have to know what you're doing. So whether you have a lot of money or a little bit of money, you still have to know what you're doing in order to make money trading. This particular trade cost $7.50. You could have done one. If you did two, you could have made $14,500. This was an insane call. I called it far, far out. Far out. I called it on 12/6. I called the 400 Teslas. It expired on the 20th. I'm going to show it to you in a minute. It was almost $1,000 return investment. Biggest trade I had of the month of December. For me, I risked 9,000 and I made 87 grand. Now let's take a look at the trade. So again, here is the chart. Okay. So here's the 6 and it went boom. Now, I always get this question, did I have the perfect exit? No. Actually, I got out here. If I had held it to the 18th, I actually would have made more. It continued up. It almost went to 500. It made brand new all-time highs the 18th, but I got out of it here in the 17th because I wasn't sure what was going to happen with the Fed. So I took my exit here. So I actually could have made more. I could have made over 90 grand in this. But I just want to show you, again, the fact that I called this here, it was early. Well, I saw that it was going to go to 400, and it went boom, and it almost went up 100 points. And that was in 2 weeks. So this is the power of a gap. So let's talk about what is a gap. A stock closes at 4 o'clock every day. Every day the market closes at 4 and opens at 9:30. So here, this is a gap. This closed here at 4 and opened at 9:30. This is a bullish gap. Rallied, boom. Then I did it again. Here was another one. Closed here, gapped up, rallied, boom. Okay, now this was a bearish gap. I did not short this, just so you know, but I just want to show you here. This is a bearish gap where Tesla, again, this is a daily chart. Someone's asking about time frames. This is a daily. And I went back here to November because we've actually been trading this since then. But this closed here, gapped down. Now, technically, if you shorted this here, could you have made money? Yes, I didn't, and I didn't want to, and I wouldn't have. But technically, you could have. If you had gotten in, got out quick, you would have made money. Okay. So usually when I'm doing an option, I'm looking to get a push, whether it's a push up or push down. Not in and out it for a little quick one here. But technically, you could have got in and out that day. I also did the 380 calls. Actually, the day before, I called the 400s on the 5th. These cost $13, $7. Again, this was over $100. I have not seen these types of numbers for since before COVID. Again, I've been trading for a long time now, since 2008. But the thing is, the last time, we had these kind of crazy moves in stocks was before COVID, 2018, 2019. We're seeing it. We started to see it. We're going to see it this year, and it's exciting. It's exciting, to be honest with you. Anyways, this is how you can make a lot of money. This here, again, you could have made $8,700. Now, again, you have to have an account that you could risk this. So you could have an options account with a cash account of 10 grand in it, and you would have risked 10% of your account here. And then you would have almost doubled your account. Again, this day here was the day before this day, which I just got in here, and then I did it again here. And then I did it here at the 380s. And then it kept going. And again, same thing here. I didn't have the best exit in it. I actually thought that was going to 500. If the market hadn't sold off on the 18th and then drifted off towards the end of the year, I actually think that would have gone to 500 last year. I still think Tesla's going to 500, by the way. Anyways, like I was saying, earnings season starts now. It's in full swing. Here we are. Again, these stocks that I have listed here reported this morning, and you're seeing the moves in the market. You're not going to have a bullish market without the financials. So the financials really needed to be strong this morning for the market to reverse the selling that we had to start this year. Getting back to what I was saying, though, how do you become successful? How do you do this? Part-time, full-time, whatever you want to do. Number one, you need a winning strategy. So for mine, it's gaps. You got to learn it first so you understand what to do. Number two, you need a supportive mentor. That's me, okay? So I call the trades again in the live room. You can ask me questions. You can email me. You can call me on the phone. You do and follow. Number three, become an expert in one thing. For me, it's gaps. You implement the strategy, get good, and then you add size to win big. So there's nothing wrong with taking one contract, because if you don't know what you're doing and you're new, that's what you should be doing. Even if you have a big account, you take your time, you learn it. And again, I call it chunk it out. Someone's asking, how do you find gaps? A million places. All you need is a scanner. Finding gaps is easy. Qualifying the gaps and picking which one is going to go in which direction, that is what I teach people, Pep. Finding them is super duper easy. So again, how do you make money in the market? You got to get the direction right. You have to determine who is in control. So the market fell the last couple of days. I did not short it. I was watching it. I loved to short. I didn't short it. I said, you know what? I think we rally. And here we are. We're rallying today. We started it yesterday. So if you can determine who is in control, that's how you're going to make money. And that's how you're going to make the most money. Again, I was on TV the end of last year with somebody else. It was like, this guy was like, oh, Tesla's extended. It's extended. It's extended. And I was like, no, it's not extended, actually. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful chart. It's strong. So again, if you determine who is in control, that's how you can make money. If you're waiting for a stock to fall back to buy it, again, then you're more like Warren Buffett, where you're trying to buy it at a low price and sell it at a high price. You don't have time to do that if you're an active trader. And what if it keeps falling? You don't do something against it. It doesn't make any sense. Do you follow what I'm saying? You have to get the direction right to win. If you get the direction wrong, you lose. And that is just what it is. Here's another one here. Again, this is AMD. This has been following with NVIDIA. Stock closed here at 4 o'clock, gap down here at 9:30, fell, boom. Again, closed here at 4 o'clock, gap down here at 9:30, fell, boom. So again, many opportunities. Here's another one over here. Look, closed here, gap down, fell. Lots and lots of opportunities that you could have had in this chart, again, to short. Okay, so again, what do you need to be successful? Number one, you need a strategy that consistently works in any market. So mine is called golden gaps. Let's just talk about what is a gap. A stock gap, so the opening price today is different than the closing price of yesterday's trading. A gap is a break in price action from one day to the next. You can see it in any chart, but I specifically focus on the daily. So here we have Target. Stock closed here, gap down. So Target was up here. This was back in November. It was earnings. It was up here around 155. Gap down here under 130. Fell off a planet. Now again, you could have done a day trade here. You could have done a put. This was a nice short. You see it here? It fell all the way down, $10 plus. Again, this, you say, oh, who's in control? The bears. The bears are in control here. This is the play you want to do. This is where you want to make the money. This is the momentum, okay? Not this gobbledygook here, okay? This is you do it, boom, make the money, get out, done, boom, okay? So again, what is a golden gap? A golden gap is a gap that rates 20 points or more per the Golden Gap 26-point rating system. This is the system that I invented and teach in a class once a month. You take the trade in the direction of the gap. I'm always doing it in the direction of the gap. You could do the trade as a day trade or an option. I do both, okay? Now, I'm showing you this here, again, from yesterday. This morning, the stock is like up here. Now, I don't know where it is exactly right now at 917. But again, this is up. So this is a bullish gap happening right now in JPM. The stock's probably going to make brand new all-time highs today. I have 100% conviction that's going to happen. If it doesn't happen today, it'll be in the next week. We're ready in calls. We're ready in calls that are in the money. So again, the fact is that if you see who's in control, you can play it. Whether you play it as an option or a day trade, again, I like to do both. But the fact is that's how you're going to make money. And it has to be also on momentum. Here was the trade. I put it in here. I'm still in this trade. I sent this Monday. It was in the money yesterday, actually. It had a big rally into the close. And then it was up last night, and then it was up this morning. When I had last looked, I think the high was 253-ish. Again, I don't know where it is now. We're still not open. But this is a nice trade right here. So again, I don't do any fancy-dancy options trades. I'm buying the call and selling it to get out. I'm buying a put and selling it to get out. And again, I did a put in Target. So you need a focus in order to trade. What people come from me and they get is structure. Structure and what to look at. Get up in the morning, make the pick, rate the gap. If it rates 20 points or more, you do it in the direction of the gap. And again, my room is very structured. We only do day trades in the morning between 9:30 and 10. That's it. We're done. I'm very, very, very structured in what I do. And many traders, they don't have structure. That's one of the reasons they lose, and they're all over the place, and they're constantly going from thing to thing to thing, looking for the next get-rich-quick thing. There is no get-rich-quick thing in the market. While I do call fabulous trades like that Tesla during the course of a year, I never know when I'm going to get them. But on a regular basis, I'm chunking it out, just looking for more winners than losers. And that's how you do it. But if you don't have a system that you can apply daily that has more winners than losers to it to consistently win, you're never going to get ahead. And you've got to learn it to understand it, otherwise you're going to be jumping around. So again, what do? I look at the checklist, I go through the checklist. This is what you come if you learn from me in the class. The rating system helps me determine who is in control. You only have one control at a time. You only have the bulls in control or the bears in control. Okay, that's it. It's very, 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 very rare that something would be in a neutral position. And even then, to be honest with you, there is a control level there too, where the control is leaning. If you had a scale, there it's leaning to one side or another. Boeing's another one I've been watching where that could tip. Okay, the control could tip in that. It hasn't yet, but it could. I'm watching it. The earnings are out at the end of the month. Again, earnings season is right now. All these big stocks, all these big companies, all these things that everybody knows, all the products that you buy, everything is in full swing right now. And on top of that, we're going into next week with the inauguration and a new administration coming in, which is going to be very interesting to see actually how the market reacts. So if you are always like, well, I'm going to short this and go long it. No, I never short and go long the same stock at the same day at the same time. You can't have conviction if something's strong and have conviction something's weak at the same time. That's impossible. That's like if I said to you, or do you love your spouse? You say, okay, fine. Well, you don't hate them too. You either love them or hate them, okay? So the reality is it's the same way with trading. Having this understanding and this level of conviction when I trade actually helps me make decisions to trade. Carlos is saying JPM is for 250. Great. Perfect. Beautiful. We'll see how that acts today. But the market's up, and that's good too. So that's good for JPM too. So anyways, gaps happen in the market on a regular basis. However, some gaps are better than others. Some gaps are nothing gaps. So I don't do every gap in the world. I don't buy every bullish gap. I don't short every bearish gap. And I don't do gap fills. That doesn't work. Okay, the most important gaps in the market are gaps that signify a change of direction or a bigger move in the same direction. Understanding which gaps are meaningful and which gaps are not meaningful in the market will help you to know what to do and when a change is occurring. That is how you know when the power money will flow to pay you. I will tell you this right now. I'm just thinking out loud because there's just so much in my head right now with the market today. Again, I didn't short this market this year. Could I have shorted the market theoretically and made money in the last few days? Yes, I didn't do it because I didn't believe we were really going to fall off because I knew the control wasn't on the side of the bears, at least not yet. So I didn't do it. But again, not every gap is one you want to play. That's where the rating system comes into, that's why I have to rate them. Do you know what I'm saying? And I will tell you, I'm just telling you this right now. This is a very important gap for the market today, this gap up in the market today. If this gap up in the market today, if the bullish gap in the market today and the QQQs and the SPY, that's what I mean when I say the overall market, if this holds today and goes like a crazy bird up, it could potentially totally 100% reverse the selling that we've had since the start of the year. It could do it in a day, it could do it in 2 days, it could do it by 4 o'clock. This is a very important gap in the market today. It has the momentum of all the financial earnings underneath it. It has the data that came out this morning too. It's important to really see, let's just see how strong this market is. Like that's where I'm at with it. Again, I'm already in trades and they're up. But I'm like, okay, let me just see here. Let this market prove to me where the control really is and how big that control is. Like I knew the control was to the upside, but it's like how big is it, or are we shifting? And I was watching that carefully in the last couple of days, I'll tell you, because I love to short. But this is where people get tripped up. Because just because something's red doesn't mean it's not strong. Just because it has a red bar. Because every chart has red bars and green bars. Everything that's weak has a red bar and a green bar. Everything that's strong has a red bar and a green bar. So that's not it. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you have to read the footprints of institutional money. You have to get good at doing that. I do it using the technicals, using advanced technical analysis, using the chart data. But it's because I'm analyzing the gap. Because if you're just saying, well, this is falling, therefore it's weak. No, if it was that easy to trade, to short every red bar, go long every green bar, then no one would ever lose any money in the market. That's not reality. How many days do I hold? I'm usually doing the weeklies. So I'm only doing the weeklies. Now, again, it's a weird thing with the holiday that we had last week and then the holiday that's Monday. So, I might do things out a little bit more, but normally if it's not a holiday, a week. But anyways, if you learn how to read the footprints of big money in the market, it's going to be easier for you to make money. You're going to be less stressed. Okay, you will sit through the wiggles and the jiggles. Okay, like we even saw in the market. Or stocks, Tesla's another one that's been wiggling and jiggling on news for the last 4 days. So again, if you understand it, it's going to help you. Okay, and you can win big trading on this side of power. So again, this was one of these ones where it was just ready to go. And we will have moves like this in stocks this year. And the other thing that I talked about in a recent TV hit, I was talking about NVIDIA. That's been a piece of crap lately. But the reality is that that's a stock. Remember the stock split last year? That's a stock that could double by the end of the year. And the people I was on, the other person was saying that was extended. That could easily double by the end of 2025. I know it's a piece of crap right now. It hasn't been doing anything right. And I may not do that until the earnings, which I didn't look up the date on that. But, these stocks can move. They just can. And again, if you find them expensive to day trade, Tesla's over $400 a share now, then you can buy the put. I don't do anything with Delta, Tanya. I don't do anything. I rate the gap. I say, oh, this is a good bullish gap. I'm going to buy a call in it. Boom, I do it. I look at the chart. I figure out the targets. I see where I want to take it and what I want to pay. I might do it at the money. I might do it ahead, in which case then that's the first target. If it's 380, 400. It's just my rating system. It's just the Golden Gap rating system that I use to trade to make decisions. Okay? But getting back to what I was saying, institutional money is in charge of the market and stocks at all times. I guarantee you that people are trapped right now that are in shorts or trades or puts this morning that thought the market was going to fall off even yesterday. Did you watch yesterday what the market did yesterday? I watched it and I had a dentist appointment. I left, I came back, I traded in the morning. We went long Tesla in the morning. I got out. It ran up. I had a perfect exit on that yesterday. Then I went to the dentist, came back, and we were falling off a cliff. I said, what the heck? And I came back, I looked at my chart, I said, doesn't make any sense. And I just shut it down. I went to bed. I got up this morning. I said, poof, there we are. There it is. It's very easy. If you're sitting staring at a screen all day, you could go crazy, okay? Don't do that to yourself, okay? Have certain times of the day where you check trades if you're in options. And again, I only day trade in the morning. Even if you think something's going a certain direction, I go back and I double, triple check it. And I go back and I double, triple check the gap rating. And I go back and I rate it. And that's what keeps me, on track, not to kill a trade just because it goes against me, to give it time to work, especially if I'm an option and I have a week left, or if the gap rated good. You're going to get wiggles and jiggles. There are people that are short this market right now that are hurting this morning. They're down, and who knows? They could kill the trades, and then that could push the market up, and the covering could even push the market up higher, besides the fact that you have people that are long anyways, okay? Anyways, here's another one. We were talking about this, just the market. Going back, I was talking about earlier this week. Again, I didn't do this. But theoretically, you could have shorted the market here. Stock closed here, gap down. This is a SPY. Theoretically, you could have shorted this here, got in, got out. Okay, I didn't do it because my conviction is on the side right now of the market that it's strong. So I did not do this trade, but you could have done it. But I will tell you that it didn't rate good. It didn't rate good. So I didn't do it. And that's why, again, understanding why really helps you. It's the structure. It's the structure. And I pick what I want to do early in the morning. I'm not making decisions on the fly. I'm not trading stocks on the fly. Understanding why will help you. Again, knowledge is something that is very important to get ahead in life. Everybody wants to trade and they want to make a lot of money in the market, and everybody wants to get rich. Well, what are you willing to do to make that happen? Are you willing to invest time and money in a class and learning something and thinking and using your brain to understand something? Again, all of this is important, This isn't like winning the lottery when you trade. Even when I have a good trade, like in Tesla, that was all skill. It was a skill set. It was a skill set, and I utilized a skill set, and I used my own skill set in order to make the profits. So again, I use a 26-point checklist. That is how I make the decisions, and it's all about the knowledge. This is all key. There's lots of people that are trading all the time, and they have no idea what they're doing. They don't use their brain. They're trading based on fear, anxiety, panic. They trade on their P&L. They're looking at it, and they're saying all these different things that are going on in their head, and they're not really looking at the information. You look at the chart, you look at the information, you rate the gap, and you make the decision based on that, and you size yourself according to the size of your account. I mean, you have to do that no matter what. So again, getting back to gaps. Gaps are the most powerful show of price action in a chart. Gaps have large moves. Gaps can move up or down. Some of the biggest momentum moves in a daily chart come from a gap. When I trade, I'm looking for and trading momentum. Again, today in the market, what have we seen? What have we seen in the banks? Momentum, bullish momentum. Then whether you have a small size or large size, you'll get a good risk to reward. Someone's asking me here, you still don't understand how you know to buy or sell based off the gap? How do you determine it? That is, I go through and I rate it based on the 26-point system. That is a system that I teach in my class, which is a paid class, which is January 25th and 26th, and the class is 16 hours. I couldn't even teach you that here in 1 hour or 55 minutes anyways. And that's what people pay me to learn for my time and to teach it to them and understand it. But it's all day Saturday and all day Sunday, and we'll talk about that more at the end. I know that it's football. I know it's football seasons. My dad's an Eagles fan, and they're doing really well. I get it. I get it's a football playoff weekend, but it's a good time to learn. It's a good time to trade. You got to focus on making money. Tape the game. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying. Okay, fundamentals. Look at the last year. 2024 is just a good barometer, and even 2023. Inflation's going down. They kept saying it. So the market kept rallying, believing what was not even reality. Kind of funny, wasn't it? They kept saying, well, we're going to lower rates. We're going to lower rates. And then they never did until September. Market didn't care, kept rallying. And now now the market fell even since the beginning of this year because they don't think they're going to lower rates twice. Or they may raise rates. And then the market got scared. Okay? So if you're making decisions based on the Fed, you have a headache. You need like 2 Excedrin because I mean there's nothing that they do makes any sense. So again, every time they said the data was good too last year, remember there was a revision. Then they do a revision, and it just got to the point by the end of the year it was a joke, and everyone was like, "Oh, well, we're going to get a revision," and then they did. So it's sort of like you can't look at the fundamentals. You can't make opinions based on that. Again, Kramer's been on TV for 30 years, and he has his own show. He says what he thinks about stocks. It's not based on a system like mine. It's based on I think this because I read the report and Tesla says this. They give opinions, and then people trade off of those opinions, and that's what you want to do. That's what you want to do. But I don't think you're going to have results trading on opinions. Okay, you have to look at the price action. That is what you can verify. Like someone just said that JPM was at 250. Okay, then it's at 250. Then we can all say, yeah, we can pull up our charts, we can look at the live data, we can say, boom, it's at 250. Whatever the number is, okay? We can all verify it. That's the truth, that's real. It's not up for discussion, okay? And that's very, very important when you're trading actually, okay? Because you need to have those things on your side. Because you don't know what the Fed's going to do. You have no idea. And even if they come out and say something, they could change their mind the next month. Do I play the gap strategy in the futures indices? Does it work with any financial instrument? I get that people like to trade futures because of the types of accounts they can open with futures and everything else like that. I do trade the QQQs and the SPY. Like I said, I'm long the market in calls today, and I will day trade the market. So theoretically, could you rate the gaps in the market and trade my system, trading the QQQs and the SPY and even the diamonds, which is a DIA ETF? Yes, you could, but you're not going to get a good gap in the market every day. So like I pretty much get a play most days, unless it's a holiday or something. So the market does not rate good every day. Do you understand what I'm saying? So there will be days where you don't have a trade. So that the answer is yes, you can, but you won't have as much action as if you did stocks. And you're also not going to have, the market's not going to go 100 points like Tesla. Do you know what I'm saying? So stocks have massive moves, the kind of moves that you want to participate in as an active trader. So you've got to find out more information about opening up a real options account or a day trade account and how to do that. There are prop accounts. You can go to and open up a retail account. As a margin account, you need $25,000, but you can also go prop and open up a prop account with as little as $2,500. You've got to look into different brokers and different places to trade so that you can participate, because just doing the market, first of all, the market's very tricky. I don't get the market right all the time. That's number one. And number two, you're not going to get the same percentage of wins, okay? Anyways, number one, you need a winning strategy. Number two, you need a mentor to follow. And that's me, okay? So I teach the class. I run the room, I trade, I do it all. Trading is really about consistency. That's what it comes down to. Again, in the morning, I like to get in and out of my trades really quick. So this is the last week, the last full week of 2024 when I traded. I was off for the 20th, so it was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So this was the week of the 16th, and then I closed the room and didn't trade and took off for the 2 weeks at the end of the year. So we did Google here. It was 12.16. I entered the stock list again. You had to have a margin account. I went long. Well, I'll show you the gap in a minute. 196.80. Added here at 195.80. Average price was on 96.30. Was a nice trade. 200 was my target. It booped a little bit over it, and this was $12,600 for a day trade. Okay, again, it was here. Stock closed here, gapped up, boom. It was a nice trade. Okay. So again, it's a bullish gap. All right. Then on Tuesday, did the AMD on the 17th. Okay. 124.05 was the entry. This was a short. Exited 123.18. Profit was $3,045. And again, this was the 17th. It was just a little quick trade here, but it worked. And again, this in here, you could have done this just this year. Okay. Anyways, Wednesday we didn't do anything. So on the 18th, we did nothing. That was the day, remember, where the Fed reported. It was a little crazy. We didn't do anything. There was no good gaps. Then we did mu on the 19th. This worked. Closed here, gap down, open, rally, dropped. Shorted it. This was 12.19. 88.80 got in. 87.90 was the exit. Profit was 12.60. It was a nice trade. So again, 16,905, and I didn't trade one day. And Friday it was closed. That was the last week of the year. So again, it's chunk it out, chunk it out. That's how you do it. You take day by day by day by day. Like yesterday, we did Tesla. Got in, got out, done. Today, again, I probably would have looked at, it probably would have been a tie for me today between JPM and Goldman. Or even the market. I would have looked at today. How much are you starting with to invest in those types of profits? Again, I'm showing you my trades here, my size. So you can use less size. My business is called the Stock Swoosh. It's www.thestockswoosh.com is my website. I'm showing you my risk, which is an advanced trader risk. You can take 100 share lots of this if you want. No one said you have to take 1,400 shares. Okay, most places you can't do odd lots. But again, you can take less size. If you don't have a margin account, you could have bought a put in mu. You could have just bought the 90 puts that expired that Friday. Okay? So you need a minimum of $2,000 to open up an options account. And again, if you want a margin account, you have to talk to a broker if you go retail or prop. Getting back to how much I risked for the Google. Well, I did the ad in Google because I really liked it. Again, I felt a conviction in this to go to 200. But again, this is a margin trade. So just really quickly, anytime you want to figure out what the price of something is, say you have a $100 stock, just put this in here, price per share, you times 1,000 shares equals what? You don't need $100,000. You need $100,000 in buying power. So cash retail is what? 25,000 on 4-to-1 margin. And if you go prop, most prop places will give you 10-to-1. Okay, so you could probably do it with 10,000 cash at 10-to-1. I do options and day trades, but I'm showing you here. This was the last day trade week of 2024 for me. The stats at the beginning when I started talking, I can go back then, show the results for day trades in the room and the results for options. I'm doing both. If you don't want to do both, if you don't have an account to do both, then that's your choice. But I just want to show people here, if something costs XYZ, whatever it is, you times it by the number of shares and you divide it by the margin that you have at the broker, which if you're retail, it's 4-to-1, okay? You don't have cash to cash. Like for example, if this trade had lost, if I had stopped in this, I would have lost $49.50 before the ad. for even here with the Mio. I would have lost 39.20. I wouldn't have lost the cost. Does everybody understand that? Now, in an option, I don't want to get too off target here so I can finish up. In an option, if you pay $1 for something and you have 10 contracts and you risk $1,000, you can't lose any more than 1,000. So every option, I'm playing the trade out. I'm just playing it out to win or lose. Again, you'll see that in the stats at the beginning. So like, again, JPM worked. But if it had gapped down this morning, I would have lost in that trade. It expires Friday. And I would have lost everything I had in it. Do you know what I'm saying? So you only can lose in an option what you have at risk. With a day trade, I put a stop in. And since I'm in and out of trades in 5, 10, 15 minutes, a half an hour is a long time for me to even hold a trade. You lose what you have at risk, which is wherever you put the stop. Again, if you want to risk $500, if you want to risk $100, if you want to risk $3,000, if you want to risk 10, makes sense? For those of you that are trading, if you don't understand margin, that's very, very important. If you're going to day trade, that you do understand margin and you do understand buying power, and you can Google that and you can talk to your broker about that, or you could email me if you have questions. Anyways, people enter my trading room with a certain mindset that they expect to win. And that's the reason that I have a successful business for 14 years. I like to win. I like to make money. So I'm motivated to do that. And that's why people come to me. So I think, when nobody starts out and is born deciding to trade and just takes a trade and makes money and then makes money forever, it's just not realistic. Everybody goes through ups and downs. I've heard every story under the sun of everybody that has gone under. I had my own story when I started at the beginning, but I taught myself. I only ever took one class. People take classes, they take cheap classes, and then they lose money in bad trade calls, so they end up actually spending more, cost them more than even the cost of my class to pay for my class and then get good trades. So you have to be willing to invest the time and money in doing this. Otherwise, if you don't take it seriously, you're not going to be successful. There's a lot of looky-loos out there that want to trade. And why do you think that it's so easy then some days to actually make money? Because of the fact that there is people just throwing money into things, listening to stuff on TV, getting an opinion, saying do, and then poof, they lose. And again, a lot of people are trading right now. The volume in the market is high. It's going to be even higher this year because we have a new administration coming in. Trump's back in office. He's going to be talking probably 10 times a day like he did 2016 to 2020. And when he talks about tariffs and this, things and that, he moves the market. He just does. Biden never did that. That never happened the last 4 years. So get ready. And again, you have to know what you're doing. It means if you have conviction and you're in a trade and something goes against you, when Trump talks, hold it through till it goes back. If you are, again, in the right direction and somebody says something, again, hold it through and know where to exit it too. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's also about pouncing, getting ready if something's going to happen and the opportunity comes out and then he says something and then you pounce on it. We're watching oil. I'm not in any trades right now with oil, but I'm watching that too. So again, they decide to lift some of these issues with drilling. I mean, we're watching XOMs, CVX, a lot of these stocks. Anyways, chunking it out is the way to go. It's about working smarter, not harder. So again, number 1, you need a good strategy. Number 2, you need a good mentor. And number 3, you have to become good at one thing and focus on one thing. You want to be consistent. There's no system that has 0 losses. That's why I have a set risk. That's why I don't risk my whole account in every trade. That's why I put a stop in my day trades. You're going to have some trades that lose. So again, I showed you the stats for the entire year of 2024 for options and day trades. For every 10 trades you take with me, figure 7 are going to win and 3 are going to lose. And then you're going to have some big ones. And then you're getting ahead. So again, I offer people the structure. That's invaluable. And the consistency. So how do I know what stock to trade each day? I get up in the morning and I rate it using a checklist. Every gap has to be qualified. You just don't do it as a gap fill. You just don't take every gap in the direction of the gap. It's not that simple. I'm looking for the good ones. Anything that rates 20 points or more, this is what I teach in the class. The checklist tells you what to look for in the price of the stock. Again, AMD is one of these ones that we could have done this year and we did last year, but it's all about using the daily chart And if you don't have charts, I'm shocked sometimes I talk to people, they're trading blind. They don't even have a chart up. You have to get charts. Call Marissa today. Get set up. Get wealth charts. You cannot trade blind. That's crazy, okay? You've got to learn how to trade using charts. And the most important chart, if I only had one chart, if somebody said I have one chart to trade with, it would be the daily, okay? And again, I just want to point this out that I do like to focus on shorts. I focus on shorts specifically because of the fact that panic comes in very, very quickly. And we could see that with lots of different things this year. Frank is talking about risking 1% of his account. That's up to you. If you're good, you can risk more, to be honest with you. So again, you have all the time in the world to actually do it and get good. You gotta get good first. So the system tells you how, what, and when. How to make money in the market. Trade a strategy and system that is profitable. Golden gaps are a highly profitable strategy because they focus on large momentum to trade. What stocks should you trade? Stocks that gap and rate 20 points or more per the Golden Gap 26-point rating system. Trade the gap in the direction of the gap. When do I trade them? Early in the morning when they set up and trigger. And you must have a structure in place in order to make any money at all consistently. Is it about the consistency that many traders lack? They jump around too much from thing to thing. And if you never get good at anything, you're never going to make millions of dollars in the market. Now, you may not want to make millions of dollars. You may be fine making $100,000 a year trading part-time on the side. But let me tell you something. If you can make $100,000, you can make $1 million. Because if you can make 100, then you know what you're doing. Most people lose. Do you know what I'm saying? So get to the point where you get good. And if someone said, well, if you can do this, fast forward 12 months from now, January 15th, 2026, you are at the point where you can risk, $4 or $5 a trade, $3,000 a trade, $1,500 a trade, and you can make this kind of money and you know what you're doing after trading with me for a year, you should be on your way. So again, get organized. It's a good time of the year. And again, it's winter in New York City. So it's a good time. Like I want to trade. I don't want to be outside right now. It's way too cold. It's like 10 degrees. So this is a good time to trade and make money. And like I said, it's earnings season. How do I know ahead of time where stock will go? I rate it. I use a 26-point checklist. The checklist tells me what to trade and what to look for every day. So number one, my system has a high probability of directional bias for the entire day if it rates good. I'm looking for a big move on the day, early confirmation between 9:30 and 10, and precise entries with follow-through and a good risk-to-reward target potential. Not every trade will go to 1,000% like Tesla, but there are trades that do that, and I can see it ahead of time from experience and doing this for a long, long time. And again, you don't know when you're going to get them. Will we get them in earnings season? Probably. That's the time that stocks have big moves. And again, things are going to change 5 days from now. Things are going to change. What the outcome after the 20th is going to be, how the market's going to react, we don't know yet. I'm taking it day by day. But there's going to be momentum, and there's going to be big moves. And you're going to be able to short, and you're going to be able to go long, and you want to know the right things to do. 9:30 is when the stock market opens. I'm in New York City. So 9:30 Eastern time is the start open of the market. So if you have to figure out where you live, what time that is for you, and how that works out for you. But the stock market opens at 9:30. So the second that something opens, that gap is there. It doesn't even matter where it goes on the day, to be honest with you, after 9:30. The second that 9:30, boom, the open is there. The gap is cemented. And again, this is all the stuff that I teach in the class. But anyways, you need a plan of action in place. Set your goals. Do it now. Do it this weekend. Okay? Get organized. Where do you want to be 12 months from now? All right? And put a plan of action in place to get there. Even if you said, well, I want to make $100,000 a year trading this year in 2025. I don't know how to do it. Well, if you don't have a system that's going to use, that you can use every day to train, then you're not going to get there. Do you know what I'm saying? And I know people like to swing trade because they feel like it's easier and they have to manage it less. You're already seeing that for this year, that is not going to be the case. You cannot buy every dip. That doesn't normally work for any sustained period of time anyways. And I'm not saying the market turns bearish this year, but I'm saying it's going to be volatile. I think the market probably will hold the uptrend this year. Maybe it won't, but for now it seems to be on track, but it's going to be volatile. Am I planning to automate my checklist? No. You actually have to use your brain. My best asset is my brain. That's how I figured out all the stuff I know. That's how I make decisions every day trading. And yours is too. Yours is too. Your best asset is that. So push yourself to understand stuff, and then it becomes easier. Then it's like it becomes easier. So again, we were talking about change, we were talking about education, we were talking about learning, we were talking about that earlier. Do it. You will not regret it. Pushing yourself to learn more and get more education, you will not regret it. And know that you will be in the mix of a small amount of people, because a lot of people don't want to do that. They just want to blindly take trades and they think they're going to be successful. You see how that there's no common sense to that. Anyways, 2025 is going to be a big year. This is me. I did a live class in New York last September. I don't have a live class planned for this year. If I decide to do one, I'll market it very long time in advance. I don't have one planned for this year yet. But again, this is real. You can do it. It is about following your dreams. It was for me when I decided to do it and I decided I want to trade. I'm very professional in my teaching, professional running the room, professional in how I make my choices in my trades. You have to think like that. You have to think like it's a business, even if it's just you. And again, it's your money. It's your own hard-earned money. You want to spend it wisely. I get it. I'm the same way with my money too. I think about what I want to trade. And I think hard about it before the open. And then after that, it's on. And I'm aggressive. You know what I mean? But all the thinking happens in the morning when I get up. I was up this morning at 6 o'clock in the morning and I knew I wanted to do JPM. So, I saw it early. 3.5 hours before the open. So my system that you learn from me, again, is the checklist. That's what you come and learn. You learn the entries, you learn the exits. It's about empowering yourself today. So this is a system that you can use to trade if you want to trade. My class is a full course on how to strategically find, pick, and play stocks that are professional bearish gaps. Class is once a month for January. It's not this weekend, it's next weekend, January 25th and 26th, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern Time. Class is online. You can be anywhere in the world and take it. Class tuition is $69.99. Everyone pays the same. If you want to sign up, you can email me. I'm doing a New Year and a New You special. This is going on through Friday, the 17th. And this is a good special because it gives you 3 subscriptions for all of 2025 for free with the class. So you pay for the class, do the class next weekend, and you get the market report subscription, the trading room, and the options newsletter free through the end of 2025. And again, whether you want to do options or day trades is totally up to you. But I do think there are benefits to doing both, and that's why I like to do both. And I think most people really, have to decide what they want to do on their own. So yes, my class is $7,000. There are people that did the class in December that made $50,000 after the class and those Tesla trades. I have so many testimonials I haven't even put up. One person made 100. So again, people want to pay for cheap classes and get bad trades. You pay a good price for a good class, you're going to get good trades, and the sky is the limit. So the price of my class is 100% worth it. So, again, it's timing exactly where you are, but right now it's earnings season. I showed you the trade we're in today. If you had been in the letter by Monday, you would have gotten that trade in JPM, you'd be up this morning. So do something different. Do something different in 2025. You have to think outside the box, okay? Class is not recorded. If you want to do half of the class, one Saturday on January, do Sunday on, February, that's up to you. That's totally up to you. Brian said 2 people made 100K. Brian is a student. Brian, you made 100K? You didn't email me that. Brian emailed me that. Brian did the class in December. Brian, you made 100K in Tesla in December. Brian did my class in December. Here's a funny story. Brian's wife is the one. I'm giving Brian a round of applause. Brian was so new, and he did the class. Brian, is a little quick story I'll tell you. Brian's wife called me before I even talked to Brian, and she talked to me, asked me a million questions, and said, I want my husband to do your class. And so Brian did the class, but his wife called me. Wow, Brian emailed me. That's a testimonial right there. Frank, you have to talk to your accountant about that. Wash sale rules and all that stuff. Brian, that's fabulous. All right, wonderful. Have a great day, everyone. If you're interested in more information, you can email me at melissa@thestockswoosh.com. And my website's www.thestockswoosh.com. This is a special. Have a fabulous day, everyone, and good luck trading this year.